Pac-12 beach volleyball. Does it get any better? USC is the two-time defending NCAA champions. The 2018 season gets underway next. It's a honey of a day in LA. Beach volleyball opening day on Pac-12 Network. We are on the campus of USC inside Merle Norman Stadium. A triple header today. First, the 5th-ranked Pepperdine Waves versus the 3rd-ranked UCLA Bruins. Hey everybody, I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 3-time beach volleyball Olympian Holly McPeak. Yeah, it's here time for the season. We're at the home of USC back-to-back defending NCAA champions. Holly, what does the season look like going ahead?
Well, it's exciting because Pac-12 Network is covering 34 matches and starting off with 3 of the best teams in the country battling each other today at USC.
Yeah, and when you say the best teams, let's take a look at the poll and you will see exactly what we're talking about. We already told you that USC, number 1, defending NCAA champions, 2-time NCAA champions. And Holly, UCLA and Pepperdine also playing today, 3 and 5. 3 teams in the top 5 on Pac-12.
Well, you see USC undefeated right now, but they were pushed. They were in the desert over the weekend, and they were pushed some 3-2 victories, but remain undefeated. On the other side, UCLA lost 0-5 to Hawaii, but responded the next day, beating Hawaii.
Let's talk about these 2 teams in particular. We're going to start this triple header off with Pepperdine and UCLA. Pepperdine, a team that is fairly young. They don't have a ton of depth or experience yet. What can Nina Matthews bring?
Well, Pepperdine always brings a talented group. They've got a junior class that has been so strong every year, helping build the Pepperdine program. So they're looking for some depth, some competitiveness at the 5 spot, but they don't have the depth they've had in the previous years.
And for UCLA, the Twins are back. The McNamaras at ones.
And UCLA on the other side has the best depth they've ever had. They feel like every year they've gotten a little bit better. And according to Coach Steinmetzger, they've arrived. They have the depth and the competitiveness every day to push for the national title.
It's time to take your shoes off and settle in. A full day of beach volleyball on Pac-12 Network's 3 matches. 3 of the top 5 teams in the country. We're going to put the ball in the air next.
You're watching
After 50 years under the hood.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. We're ready to get it underway at Merle Norman Stadium. We're going to start off with the 4 and 5 pairs. This is UCLA and Pepperdine. On court number 2, the 5 pairs, Dilfer and Lyons versus Muret and Carey. But we're going to turn our attention to court number 1 with the 4 pairs. Simo of UCLA, first serve goes into the net. Simo is paired with McNamara, and they're playing against Pepperdine's Caputo and Filippone.
McNamara working her way into the lineup last weekend in Hawaii.
May sets. Simo looking for back line. Of course, May much larger. She is the blocker in this pair. Simo, outstanding defender.
Net violation by Alexis Filippone, number 15 in dark blue for Pepperdine. Savvy Simo, very experienced on the beach. McNamara with a little bit of experience last summer, but mostly indoor for UCLA.
Yeah, just a true freshman, McNamara. Nice serve down the line. May pulling off, digs the first ball. Simo, an outstanding setter.
Beautiful drop defense by McNamara, number 1. Gets off the net, gets stops, digs the balls, and transitions it against the big Filippone block for Pepperdine.
Both of these teams, traditional blocker-defender setup. Sometimes we'll see that, of course. Sometimes we won't. We'll see them split blocking as May's serve goes long.
Alexis Filippone will run to the net and block. Skylar Caputo will play full-time defense for Pepperdine.
May goes to the corner.
Interesting defensive scheme by Pepperdine. They chose to block the angle, run to the line. For players who are inexperienced on the beach, they usually don't notice that, but there McNamara identifies, hits a nice cross-court shot.
Filippone passes. Through the hands of McNamara.
The two big players, Alexis Filippone and McNamara, battling at the net. McNamara needs to make sure she presses over the net and really seals it as a beach blocker. That's the most important thing. You don't want to go up and then over. You just want to slide your hands over the net.
Skylar Caputo serving, a junior out of Manhattan Beach, California. Played for Elite Beach Volleyball Club. May surveying the floor and again sees it, goes away from Caputo.
Same defensive scheme, not working. McNamara's identifying that angle block and shooting over. If you're Pepperdine, you also need to delay your defensive move a little bit longer. Don't let McNamara see you early.
One of the few times in beach volleyball you're allowed to talk with your coach is on the slow walk of the side change. So Nina Matthews talking with the Waves. Jeff Alzina, the new volunteer assistant coach with UCLA, having a quick chat with May and Simo. Holly, they keep serving Filippone, who is their primary blocker hitter. Any insight as to why?
Well, Skylar Caputo, very experienced. She spends her time on the beach full-time in the summer as well. Played on the AVP Tour, got a third at the Seattle AVP Open with Olympian Sarah Pavin. So she's definitely the more experienced player, but wow, you see the heat from McNamara. If I'm Pepperdine, I serve Savvy Simo and make McNamara set the ball. Setting is one of the hardest skills to learn in beach volleyball, and it takes time.
And for McNamara, who was playing a pin hitter on the indoor team, rarely put her hands on the ball.
Exactly, and she's very comfortable hitting. Watch this jump serve by Savvy Simo, just nails Alexis Filippone down the line. She really goes after it aggressively.
May pulling off, right to the back line.
You feel the wind pick up, the wind in our face. Pepperdine's on the side with a slight wind advantage. You want to play with the wind in your face. It allows you to be more aggressive offensively and with your serve.
Ball into the net. These coaches of these teams still trying to figure out kind of what their best pairs are, where their best pairs should be placed very early in the season. It's great to get this kind of competition early.
And we're seeing two true freshmen in McNamara and Alexis Filippone battling. And to get in the starting lineup in these two programs as freshmen, it's a lot of pressure and a lot to learn.
To McNamara. And again, May's going to keep riding that until it happens. As we look at this format, it's a little bit different than people might be used to if they've watched the AVP. Take us through it.
Correct. It's 5 matches of pairs. The best 3 of 5 wins the match. This first round that you're seeing, the first flight, pairs 4 and 5 matching up. Second flight will be pairs 1, 2, and 3. They're playing best of 3 sets, first 2 to 21. If necessary, that third set to 15 points. Must win by 2.
Yep, and so the entire duel, as it's called, the UCLA versus Pepperdine, is best 3 of 5. First team who has 3 courts wins the duel, but we will play everything to completion today so that you will see all these pairs play it out.
And you see, again, both teams testing the bigs. Alexis Filippone hammering that ball cross court for Pepperdine.
Dilfer Lyons trailing Muret and Carey of UCLA on court number 2. Over.
There you see Pepperdine switching the strategy, serving Savvy Simo, who's more experienced, but making McNamara set the ball. She set the ball too tight. Pepperdine scores the point.
That's what you get when you're a 3-time Olympian. Identifying. So on to this time. Pokey is easily picked up by Caputo, not her first day, and to the back line, Skylar Caputo converts.
Finally, Skylar Caputo, she's being patient on defense, gets that nice over on 2, and then a good aggressive approach, finds that opening down the line, back of the line.
Pepperdine with a 1-point advantage on court number 1. May, blocked by Filippone.
They scored the point off Savvy Simo, but go back to McNamara. McNamara that time got under the ball, did not see the big block, and Alexis Filippone pushes over and gets that Pepperdine block.
Two-point advantage for Caputo and Filippone. Cross. Right down the middle, splitting them.
Savvy Simo pulled that pass a little bit, but stayed aggressive on her approach, and she's so experienced. She spent her summers on the beach playing in all the tournaments, and you see that nice kill down the middle.
Steinmetzger very happy with what Savvy Simo has been able to do this season already, telling us that her serving, her defense, he wanted her in a pair where she could really concentrate on being a full-time defender.
And he called her a gnarly athlete.
That's a
in
big
the
compliment.
best way. Absolutely. There's a lot of good athletes out here, but she is one of the gnarliest.
Filippone patrolling the net for Pepperdine.
Couple errors in the last side change for UCLA, and Pepperdine pulling ahead.
A 3-point lead for the Waves in the 4 pairs. Beach volleyball action underway.
Monday. Join Mike
now. Go to pack-12.com/tickets.
Welcome back to Merle Norman Stadium. You're getting a look at Nina Matthews, who has been talking to her 4 pairs. That's a legend in the game. Nina Matthews, in her 8th season as Pepperdine Beach head coach, has announced it will be her last.
Yes, and Marcio Socoli, her assistant, who's been with her for the last 7 seasons, will take over the program. But boy, what a legacy Nina Matthews has left at Pepperdine, or will leave.
31 years as the indoor coach as well. She's had a lot of great years. Filippone pass, on one, ripping it is Caputo.
Right now, UCLA making too many ball control errors, and Pepperdine is capitalizing, especially Skylar Caputo.
That's the kind of thing that puts a fire in the freshman. Filippone serving now, goes at Simo, which you have pointed out before. Simo rips it right back, the 2 most experienced beach players on the sand.
Good set by McNamara, and Savvy Simo just goes right through the arms of the blocker, Alexis Filippone. Alexis Filippone's a little late with her push over the net to cut that ball off as a blocker.
Going at Caputo again. McNamara in control. Caputo knuckles.
Savvy Simo all over that ball. That first ball, McNamara touched with her block and couldn't control it. Savvy's there, but just can't control it or lift it enough for her partner.
Simo, again, receiving serve. Filippone doing a nice job patrolling the net. Ba-bang, McNamara.
I feel like both teams being a little bit safe right now with their serve. They need to be more aggressive.
Steinmetzger, in his 6th season as UCLA Beach head coach, moved over after being an assistant on the women's indoor side. This team has gotten stronger and stronger, and Steinmetzger so pleased. You'll see his 1 pair, the McNamaras, in the next flight of games. He said the McNamara twins have really set the tone for this program. It's a hard-working program.
And now they finally have the depth where everybody who comes to practice is competing for a spot, and that makes everybody better.
Steinmetzger, a gnarly athlete in his own right, to use his words, an Olympian.
Hall of Fame, and here he is giving back to the sport, helping teach these young players how to play the sport right.
Yep, and won a NCAA championship indoor as well with the men's team setting. And this UCLA team has a lot of great setters on the beach on this program. Simo, no one on, goes to the back line. It's so pretty, Holly, last foot of the court.
Savvy Simo really is the experience for UCLA and has to keep things calm and minimize the errors for UCLA.
Court number 2, the 5 pairs, Dilfer and Lyons, now with a lead 14-12. This set started off with Muret and Carey, a 5-point lead. Well, whatever Marcio Socoli, the legend, said to Pepperdine, it worked, and now they are leading set number 1. Filippone. I feel like it was Savvy Simo yelling angle there. What a spot.
Well, Savvy Simo just reads the game. She's grown up in the sand. You can see her reading what the hitter's going to do. And then in transition, good set again by McNamara in transition, finding the line open.
We're only 14 points in for UCLA, and I get it in terms of what Steinmetzger said. Simo is aggressive. Look at the run.
McNamara, the least experience of the two for UCLA. She's got a big learning curve at 6'3". She's athletic, and I feel like she's going to get better every match as this season goes on.
May turning away from the defender. Nicely done.
McNamara getting her feet to the ball and beating the big block with a nice little poke over to a good location. I like this play by McNamara for UCLA.
Poke coming the other way. You talked about McNamara's learning curve. She's also from Iowa, so she didn't grow up like Simo with her toes in the sand.
Correct, but she did spend some time in Hermosa Beach last summer, and I think that's one of the reasons, or 2 summers ago, why she fell in love and wanted to come out to UCLA to play indoor and beach volleyball.
It's not a hard place to fall in love with, that's for sure. The thing that McNamara does have going for her, though, is that she carried such a heavy load for the indoor team. She's used to the pressure, the experience. What a perfect serve by Filippone.
Alexis Filippone is tall, and she hits that float serve from a high contact point, and it just carries nice and deep, dropping into the corner for the Pepperdine ace.
McNamara up, pounding the back corner.
That's something McNamara knows how to do, taking lots of swings indoors. She feels very comfortable passing and putting this ball away from Simo.
Quick chat with the coaches on the side change. It's one of the things that is unique about beach volleyball is that your coaches cannot coach you during the action, during the play. The only time that they're allowed to say something is either during a timeout or the side change.
And it's important to get those words of wisdom. Beach volleyball is one of those sports where experience is huge, and that coach, that's what she offers.
A lot of the coaches of the indoor teams like their athletes playing beach as well because it teaches them to solve problems. It teaches them to work it out with their teammates.
And to read the offense and read situations and make educated moves depending on what you're seeing.
McNamara, no one on, goes little. Caputo on 2. Simo. That's a nice dig by Caputo. And the door is closed by McNamara.
And how about that? 6'3" McNamara getting right in front of her hitter, pressing over for the UCLA point. Good transition block by McNamara.
Lead was 4, now cut to 1. McNamara serving. An ace serve, the final back inch of the court.
Well, it's the same serve Alexis Filippone aced her on just moments ago, and then McNamara returning the favor, tying it up at 19 in this very important first set.
We're going to pop over to court 2 and take a look at the 5s during this timeout. UCLA +2, looking for the back corner, and it drops in. That's Lyons and Dilfer, who just moved into the 5 spot.
Maddie Dilfer with a nice deep shot, finding the back line, trailing by 1 in this first set.
They have been serving Megan Muret.
UCLA calling the timeout. Steinmetzger going to share some advice from the sideline.
Steinmetzger on one end and Marcio Zaccoli for Pepperdine on the other end. The other thing that's interesting about beach volleyball is the coaches can roam. You can go from court to court, whoever needs you the most. Right now, just 2 courts of action, but the next flight will be 3 concurrent courts going. Teams 1, 2, and 3 going for these 2 schools.
And the important thing about building a beach volleyball program, you need to have 5 strong teams. A win at 5 means the same as a win at 1. So you want to show that you have depth. So every court is important. You want to win at every pair.
And that's where we've really seen the change in the sport over the last 5 years that you and I have been covering it and looking at it, is that it used to be this program or that program had a great pair, or maybe 2 great pairs. Both of these teams, and USC certainly as well, depth all the way through. You're struggling to get into the 5th pair.
Absolutely. There's players who were All-Americans out of high school who are sitting on the bench for UCLA.
Tied up 19 apiece on court number 1 with the 4 pairs. Simo And Filippone sends it back.
I love the defensive read by savvy Simo, but Alexis Filippone shutting the door down the line.
Set point Pepperdine on the right side of your screen on court number 1. Nice use of the block on court 1. Meanwhile, on the left side of your screen, tied up 19 apiece on court 2. Lyons serves into the net. We didn't tell you, you get eye work doing this on the right side of your screen. Simo serves. Filippone's knuckles aren't going anywhere. McNamara shuts it down, and now it is set point UCLA on the right side.
UCLA keeping the pressure on Alexis Filippone, and McNamara matches up with her at the net size-wise.
Service error right side, and on the left side, it was a UCLA win. Muret and Carey strike first. Set number 1 goes to the 5 pair for UCLA. On the right side, tied up at 21 apiece. We're going to come back to court number 1.
Court number 1 had set point, service error by Simo, but they're on the side with the wind in their face, so they're switching to the better side, but they need to side out.
Pass is nowhere near what they want. Simo does the best she can with it. Filippone with Caputo setting. Goes high over the block.
Little tweak in the pass gets McNamara out of position to hit the ball and bring the heat. McNamara needs to focus on moving her feet, pass the ball forward so she can see what the defense is doing.
Pepperdine set point. Inside, pulling off. Filippone digs. Puts a lot of heat on it, and Pepperdine takes set number 1 on court number 1. So we are split. UCLA and Pepperdine each have a set.
I feel like nerves played a factor in both those first sets on both pairs.
If this is the way it's going to go, it's going to be fantastic action. The start of a triple header on Pac-12 networks.
Experience, yeah.
Be good at life, New York life.
Welcome back, Pac-12 Network Beach Volleyball opening day. Pepperdine and UCLA, 2 of the top 5 programs in the country. The 4 and 5 pairs going at it after splitting sets. We're going to turn our attention to court number 2 with the 5 pairs. Their second set is in action. Muret and Carey took set number 1. Megan Muret getting most of the serves in that first set.
Megan Muret finishing with 10 kills. They're putting the pressure on her. She is a freshman. Izzy Carey, a junior, very experienced. She delivers a pretty hand set. They're running a quicker offense to find some openings for Megan Muret to put the ball down.
Now we're seeing more and more athletes use their hands to hand set, something that Stein Metzger said his team is loaded with talented setters this year.
And it takes a lot of confidence. You got to get your footwork going, and it's a really nice set to hit when it's coming out of the hands nice and soft in a consistent location.
This pair of Lyons and Dilfer for Pepperdine moved into this 5th spot. Nina Matthews looking for the right combination, looking for the right 5th pair to anchor her team. You mentioned it's all the points count the same.
Izzy Carey, aggressive serve, clips the tape and rolls over. Unfortunate for Pepperdine, lucky for UCLA.
Wind picking up a little bit here at Merle Norman Stadium. Sets up, no one on. Popped down, Dilfer unloads.
Perfect set by Nikki Lyons. Izzy Carey decided to drop a little bit early, and Maddie Dilfer made her pay. Open net kill down the middle.
Trouble pass.
Megan Muret, the freshman, number 15 in Royal Blue, needs to focus on her passing. Izzy Carey, when she gets a good pass, she can deliver that good set, which will make her side-out game easier. That one not so good.
Dilfer, a senior, been looking for her spot with this Pepperdine team. Saratoga, California. Door closed. A nice block by Nikki Lyons.
That's the set that Megan wants, but she doesn't necessarily have to hit it. This low set holds the defense. A little cut shot or high line over will get down fast.
Dilfer continuing to serve, goes down the line again. They are having Muret receive the serve. Dilfer. The call was angled. She uses knuckles. Sets up. Looking for the back line. Great spot by Dilfer.
I've seen it 3 times, but Megan Muret, when she goes to her left side to dig the ball, she goes with her right hand. You have to go with your outside hand to bring it back into the court because she's there and she's long, but she keeps going with the wrong hand.
And again, the right-handed players, right? It's so hard sometimes to learn that, but think about how much more length you get too.
Absolutely, you get that full extension and you're bringing the ball back into the court. That's the most important part. That's where your partner is.
Holly, you coach athletes at all levels. In terms of when you see an athlete who's going with the wrong hand, what are some of the excuses you get back?
Well, I'm not so good with my left hand, but it doesn't matter. You have to learn how to bring it back into the court with that outside hand. Megan Muret and Izzy Carey switching sides of the net, and then Izzy Carey with the little bump kill, using her experience, seeing that block shift and getting that kill. But Megan Muret just needs to minimize the errors. I think nerves are a factor. She's just a freshman, first time running that quick offense for UCLA. She needs to figure out how to put the ball away.
Yeah, it's a 2-point lead for Pepperdine at the side switch. Steinmetzger taking some time and talking with his freshman Muret, who's back serving. Poke is deep. Muret has it up. What a nice shot.
And how about that hand set by Izzy Carey in transition, dishes it up to Megan Muret. Megan Muret, so experienced. It's interesting, Megan Muret spent the whole last summer playing with Alexis Filippone, who's now competing for Pepperdine. They were partners, both from San Diego.
Filippone and Caputo leading by 1 on that court. Pepperdine swing, dug. Carey again, gorgeous hand set. And again, Muret rewards her with a kill.
Megan Muret just has a great feel for the game. She's just going to get better and better as this season goes on. She has all the ball control to move her offense around the court. She sees the defender go right, she goes left.
Of course, we're talking about that they're serving Muret the whole time. You mentioned a true freshman. Izzy Carey spent part of last year playing with Jordan Anderson. She played for this UCLA team the year before. She's just far more experienced at this point.
And she always has a winning record. I believe she and Jordan Anderson were 21-3 last season. So she brings experience, and she's been in these kind of matches before.
She played with Elise Zappia as well for part of the time with UCLA. You'll see Zappia in the third pair. And again, just all hand setting. That one a little quicker, a little lower.
Maddie Dilfer touching a lot of balls, number 12 in dark blue. And that's because Nikki Lyons is taking up so much space at the net. She is a big block for Pepperdine at 6'2". She plays for the indoor volleyball team as well.
Ball's up. Dilfer trying to pop it off the block, but Carey not having it.
Izzy Carey has really good handwork over the net. She's 5'11". She's not the biggest blocker on the beach, but she's very efficient with her hands over the net.
Ball's coming over. Carey unloads. Experience showing.
Exactly. You see the tough serve setting up Izzy Carey's offense. She finally gets a chance to swing at that ball in transition.
Carey must be a great teacher because she had Jordan Anderson in her first year really playing for UCLA. The first year she was in the pairs. Now she's with a freshman, and to be able to win with each of them, and of course as a freshman was with Zappia.
Well, I think the important thing about Izzy Carey, she's a good partner. She does all the little things. She good talk, good communicator, nice hand setter, and she shows that she makes some good decisions with her experience, like you see there, taking advantage of the open net.
3-point lead for UCLA. It's 5 pairs on court number 2.
The
Conference of Champions.
Welcome back, Merle Norman Stadium. 3 matches today, a triple header on Pac-12 Network. This is the first flight of the first match. It's between Pepperdine and UCLA. Right side of your screen, those are the 4 pairs. Caputo and Filippone with the lead in the second set after taking the first set. On the left side of your screen, we're going to return to the action on court 2 with the 5 pairs. UCLA's Muret and Carey took set number 1. They are leading in set number 2. Kind of a gray day in Los Angeles, a little bit brisk, although I don't know that they feel. But you talk always about the cold. You talk about the wind and the breeze. Who's got the advantage on this court right now?
Well, right now, Pepperdine's on the better side. A little bit of wind in their face. And that allows them to be more aggressive, hitting and serving into the wind. Pepperdine taking a timeout. Marcio Socoli checking the score.
Yeah, the score went up to 11. I don't know that that's the score there. I believe it is 13-9 as our scoreboard is telling you.
And it's important for Pepperdine to take a timeout. You do not want a team to get too far ahead. You want to stop that momentum and regroup your team. Get them focused on what they need to do.
So tell me about Marcio Socoli, because he coached you as well.
Well, it's interesting. We have a lot of history together. I met him down in Brazil when he was part of the coaching staff for Adriana Bauer and Shell de Bede, one of the legendary Brazilian teams who went to many Olympics, have the silver medal from Australia. And he was part of the coaching staff. And he said, hey, I want to come to the U.S. and coach. He actually came over with Tatiana Manello, coached me a little bit until I was done with my career. I just love the way Brazilians train and coach. And then he turned to Carey Walsh and Misty May and started helping them and introduced them to the indoor club game and then to Nina at Pepperdine. And the rest is history. He's something special. Great technician, great attitude, great energy, and he makes volleyball really fun.
You said you love the way the Brazilians play and coach. Kind of what defines that style?
Well, it's really creative. I mean, you think about volleyball practices, you practice something and it gets a little monotonous, but he makes it interesting. He has you moving. He has you focus on using your left hand without even thinking about it. And I think that's important to give players and athletes different looks because their attention span is short and you need them to get focused on what they need to do. And all his drills require that.
Carey Walsh-Jennings, a 4-time Olympic medalist, told us she's been with him for so many years and she doesn't feel like she did the same drill twice, to your point. He keeps it fresh even at that level.
And they're always intricate. If you train with him for the first time, you must ask about 100 questions because you're like, that explanation, I have no idea what we're doing. But it keeps you mentally focused and physically focused.
5-point lead now after this one's put away.
And look at Izzy Carey seeing the open court in transition, going cross court, beating the defender. UCLA in control.
A service ace for Carey.
Izzy Carey jump, float serving that ball, just catching the back line.
6-point lead for UCLA's 5 pairs, 2 consecutive aces.
And when you can score points off your serve, it's an important weapon. It makes teams uncomfortable and it sets you up defensively.
That one trying to go too much, it goes wide.
But UCLA was able to benefit and are in a good position, up 16-10.
Maddie Dilfer serving now. Pepperdine with a bit of a hole to dig out. This is a must-win set for Pepperdine. On the chase. Dilfer up, no one on. And just another great put away.
But it's the ball control. Megan Muret gets her feet there, puts up an easy option ball for Izzy Carey and allows her to become involved in the offense, especially when Megan Muret is getting all the serves. Here's the option ball. Izzy Carey going away from the defender.
Another side switch. Stein-Metzger talking to his team. We heard talking about Simo being gnarly. He talks a lot about going horizontal. Is it difficult as an Olympian, because I know you coach as well, as an Olympian to be able to convey some of these concepts to people that are not yet Olympians or who are so young?
Well, I think the biggest challenge for college coaches is when they come in as freshmen is to get the buy-in. They come from different clubs, different states, different backgrounds. Some come from indoor. You have to get them all to buy in technically, and then to buy into the team concept, holding each other accountable. I think that's the biggest challenge. You see a lot of talented athletes, but freshman year is a big adjustment.
And then there's the team concept, as you just mentioned, that is so different in collegiate beach volleyball. It takes people to understand, because we're used to seeing doubles still on the beach where it's just me and my partner and not me and an entire team.
Yeah, and it's something we hear from all the coaches. Anna Collier talks about it all the time. It's a team sport. We hold each other accountable. If you're not winning and doing your job at 5, you affect all of us. And I like that. I like the pressure. It's a team sport. It's not just the two, although the two and the chemistry of you and your partner is really important.
7-point lead for UCLA. Dilfer up. No one on. Carey setting. Ball is long.
Megan Muret running that ball down. If she can focus on controlling that ball closer to the net, she'll get a set and a better position and be able to terminate. These are the little things when you go to the next level that are factors.
Muret and Carey, if they're able to get this set, it's a point for UCLA, and they are at set point right now.
With their best server
Match
on the
point,
line.
excuse me, yeah, with their best server on the line. They serve Dilfer. Blocker up. Coming back over. What a nice recovery by Pepperdine.
How about that cover reaction play? I like the block by Izzy Carey, but Pepperdine able to pop it up and put it back into the court to stay alive.
It remains match point for UCLA's 5 pairs. And a tough serve. It's going to be free ball over. Dilfer to the back line. Carey already ran the other way, did a mile.
Well, Megan Muret, again, her platform's late on her pass. She needs to focus on her pass. That's going to set up her offense. Sometimes you worry about your offense and you don't think about the pass first. You have to pass in order to set up your offense, and that means getting your platform out first, pushing that ball towards the net to make the easier play.
5-point lead. Fighting off match point number 3. Up and down, and that will do it as Megan Muret and Izzy Carey, the 5 pair for UCLA, puts the first point of the duel on the board.
And they were steady. They kept the pressure on, especially from the service line. I felt like Megan Muret a little bit nervous, made a few offensive errors, but they were able to pull it out.
So UCLA strikes first point as the 5 pairs. Stein-Metzger talking to Carey and Muret. They have contributed this team sport, and you mentioned it, that point counts just as much as their 1 pairs. And they are going to need that point because the action going on the other court, when it comes back, they're in a timeout right now. Pepperdine won the first set. They're leading in the second set. So Stein-Metzger, little chat for his team. They will face USC later today in our coverage triple header on Pac-12 Network.
But you want to stay focused. What's happening right here? How can we get better as a team? How are we going to respond? We're down 15-8 if you're UCLA. How do you respond?
Yeah, let's take a look at that court. On court number 1, UCLA and Pepperdine's 4 pairs. Caputo and Filippone won set number 1. Filippone has been dominating this game. She's getting most of the serves. 9 kills and doing the work at the net as well.
So important. You want to head into this next flight. If you're UCLA, you want to try and go up 2-0, but if you're Pepperdine, you want to get there 1-1 at least, going into that last flight with the 1, 2, and 3 pairs facing off.
Yep, and so if you're just kind of new to collegiate beach volleyball, we'll explain again that UCLA put a point on the board. Caputo and Filippone, if they win this match, then the score will be 1-1. Each match is worth a point for your team. Simo up, McNamara off the hands of Filippone. Savvy Simo ready to pounce. Caputo up. Simo attacks, and it's long.
Good opportunity for Savvy Simo. Just did not get enough snap on top of that ball. She's frustrated. And Pepperdine goes up 19-15.
Yeah, Simo frustrated, and she's the more veteran player for UCLA. I mean, she might have to do a little bit of encouraging of McNamara. Looking for the corner. Skylar Caputo goes little over the block.
Skylar Caputo being very patient on defense, reading the offense, and then transitioning with a nice over line shot. She comes in hard, holds the defender. Good roll shot down the line.
Match point for Pepperdine's Caputo and Filippone. Filippone serving. A point here will tie this duel up at 1-1 before we go to the next flight of action, the 1, 2, and 3 pairs. Simo attacking. Nice shot.
Savvy Simo coming out of the middle of the court, going over the line block. Now just a side out for Pepperdine will seal the deal.
Match point number 2. They go to Filippone as expected. McNamara up, Filippone read by Simo. No one on. What a spot. Couldn't be more perfect by Simo.
Fantastic offensive hand by Savvy Simo going deep to the corner. McNamara, one of the things she needs to learn is to turn her hips, face the set so the hitter knows where it's going, but she puts a good enough set for Savvy Simo to get the kill.
Timeout called by Jeff Alzina. Alzina, as he talks to McNamara and Savvy Simo. We'll tell you a little bit more about McNamara because indoors this year as a true freshman, she was a big impact player for the Bruins.
McNamara was so talented, impact player on the right side, 2-time Pac-12 Freshman of the Week. And she brought it on the right side.
You see her receiving sets from Sarah Sponcil there, who you'll see in the next flight of action, but they're not paired together. Some people might think, well, they've already got some experience together, but there's so many things that go into forming the perfect pair.
It's all about chemistry. In Savvy Simo right now, she was matched up to play with Zonamuno, but Zonamuno out temporarily. Inserts McNamara with some size, 6'3", with lots of upside. To have a 6'3" versatile athlete like McNamara, you want to develop her as a future Beach Bruin.
Match point number 3. May and Simo trailing by 3. Filippone up. And Little Knuckles as the duel is tied. Caputo and Filippone take this match in 2 sets. Well, it's tied up, and the next flight of action starting. We'll see the 1, 2, and 3 pairs. Next one to win 2 wins.
When we put our name...
Prudential, bring your challenges.
Welcome back to Merle Norman Stadium, tied up at 1 apiece. This is the first match, first duel of a triple header today between Pepperdine and UCLA, 2 top 5 programs. Hey everybody, Anne-Marie Anderson alongside Holland McPeak. Yeah, this is about what we expected, right? It's going to be a battle all the way, tied 1-1.
Certainly, and you saw them go back and forth. It was just a couple points separating them most of the match, especially here on the pairs forecourt.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the action from the first flight of action. We'll start with the 4 pairs. They were terrific. May and Simo had a really hard time against Caputo and Filippone.
Skylar Caputo, so experienced on the beach. Here we're looking at Megan Muret and Izzy Carey against Lyons and Dilfer. But on the other side, McNamara and Savvy Simo struggled against the more experienced team of Skylar Caputo and Alexis Filippone.
And so with these 2 teams, now we're going to go to the first flight of action, and we can really talk about the 1 pairs. The McNamara twins return. If you haven't seen them, yes, they're identical twins wearing mirror opposite numbers. One is left, one is right. What's difficult about all of that?
Well, the thing that I love that Stein Metzger, the head coach for UCLA, says they do not take one play off.
They never check out. Every rep, every touch of the ball is mindful. And that's so important. That's something I try and teach the kids that I coach. Be mindful. Every time you touch the ball, it becomes a habit. And that's something the McNamaras do better than anybody in the country.
Well, and when you talk about that, we can talk about the addition of Jeff Alzina as the volunteer assistant coach. Because he has kind of brought so many new set plays to this team, Steinmetzger said that also has helped them be more mindful.
Well, they're 5'9". They're very athletic. They're dynamic. But to add play sets into their repertoire makes them a little bit more difficult to defend. They can run quicker sets, back sets, and it moves them around. It moves the big block and gives them an advantage, and they're really enjoying working on that.
On the other side, for Pepperdine, Nina Matthews has really 2-1 pairs that she's been able to flap back and forth, trying to find which one is the most dominant. Quiggle and Kraft have the nod today in the ones.
Yeah, well, I think they don't have a freshman. A true freshman in the one spot is a big challenge. And Corinne Quiggle is a senior. She's a young senior, but very experienced on the beach. One of the best true defenders in my mind at 5'10". She's really lanky, can put a lot of balls away, and she touches a lot of balls. I love to watch her play defense. And then Deanna Kraft is just physical, big, does not lack confidence, and vocal, and just goes after it at the net. I love her aggressive play. This
is an exciting sport. There's been so much growth in beach volleyball over the past 5 years. New programs coming up all the time with programs, beach volleyball programs, and depth throughout these teams.
And you see how the parity across the country, it's exciting to watch. We get to see it now. We've already seen pairs 4 and 5, very competitive, high-level matches.
Yeah, and so what do you need to become a great beach volleyball team, in your opinion?
Well, if you're a school, you need depth. You need 5 good pairs. So in order to be a new volleyball program, you must schedule 8 matches, a duel like we're seeing today. You get up to 6 scholarships, 8 with no indoor program. That's if they don't have an indoor program of their own. Players can play both beach and indoor, but if you are on a beach scholarship, you cannot play indoor.
Yeah, it only goes that way. It can't go the other way. 2018 will be the 3rd year that this was an NCAA championship sport. It was the fastest growing sport ever in collegiate sports. It got to NCAA status very quickly.
Well, this is going to get really exciting. Tied 1-1 going into this last flight. Cannot wait.
UCLA and Pepperdine, the 1, 2, and 3 teams coming up next. So you have just a moment to grab something to drink, towel off, and then you're going to see it, because we are tied up 1-1 at Merle Norman Stadium. The 1, 2, and 3s squaring off next. First match of a triple header.
With Maui Gym. The view's better from here.
Welcome back to Los Angeles. This is the campus of USC for the first flight, or first duel of action between Pepperdine and UCLA. It's actually the second flight. It will feature the 1, 2, and 3 teams. We are tied up at 1 apiece, and there are the stars of UCLA's show, the identical twins, Nicole and Megan McNamara. Their games, you can tell apart. One is left-handed, one is right-handed.
And their numbers, Nicole, number 13, Megan, number 31. 2-2 is a record this season. They just started last weekend in Hawaii. They beat Stanford, lost to Hawaii, beat Stanford the next day, and beat Hawaii the next day.
Jeff Alzina is coaching this pair. Again, he was the volunteer assistant coach for Long Beach State last year. He coaches a lot of the pros on the tour. He's an incredible coach and technician.
He certainly is. Great energy. He's been a game changer, according to the players. They love having him as part of the program. And you look at the McNamaras, Nicole McNamara coming off season shoulder surgery. That's a big deal. But Steinmetzger says she has not missed a step. We saw her. She got hurt last year at the Pac-12 championships in Tucson.
So there's 3 courts of action that are going to happen. Court 2 has the 2 pairs. Court 3 has the 3 pairs. We'll keep you updated on all the action and maybe bounce around a bit later, but we're going to turn our attention just to Court 1 as we started off. And I noticed that the McNamaras no longer are helping us out by figuring out which one's which, because they don't tape the shoulder anymore.
Yeah, darn.
Yeah, exactly. Deanna Kraft and Corinne Quiggle, the other 1 pair. On Court 2, it's Bauer and Rowe versus Sponcil and Justine Lilly. And on Court number 3, Dyer, Hernandez, and Yeomans and Zappia. Or Lily Justine, I should say, with Sarah Sponcil. Sponcil is the setter. But on Court 1, McNamara's versus Quiggle and Kraft.
Karen Quiggle, one of the most competitive people I know. Really strong defender, very lanky, good hand on the ball. Played some internationally from Florida, but has been living with her family in Manhattan Beach the last 4 years.
Immediately, the left hand of Nicole McNamara.
And Karen Quiggle from Pepperdine starting, putting the pressure on Nicole McNamara. Everybody knows she had shoulder surgery. They are going to go after her and test her.
Here is Nicole McNamara. When we've asked Stein Metzger, do you think she's going to get stronger as the year goes along? He goes, wait till you see her. She looks pretty great right now. There's McNamara using her right hand, to your point earlier when she dove right. Nice dig by Megan. Megan unloads. Quiggle gets a hand on it. Oh, this is going to be a great match. Look at this rally. Quiggle again, overhand dig. That's how we like it.
Look at that rangy cross-court kill by Karen Quiggle. Nice set by Deanna Kraft in transition. Now here's the challenge for the McNamaras. They're going to dig a lot of balls, but they need to be able to put them away in transition, so they need to control that dig. Beautiful cross-court serve into the wind coming kind of from left to right in the face of the Pepperdine team right now, and that's to their advantage.
Overpass by Nicole McNamara. No one on. What a dig that was. Seriously.
Are you kidding me? The one-arm stab, and then Megan McNamara able to get the ball over the net for her team, and it drops. Look at this. Nicole, left arm just stabbed to keep it alive for UCLA.
They're so good, they only need 2 touches and 1 arm each. That's amazing. Not ideal, of course, I'm joking, but deep line, and what a smart play as Deanna Kraft strikes.
Well, I think a lot of players want to go up and hit the ball down when they've got a smaller block, but both McNamara's very effective blockers, so choosing to go over is a good decision by Kraft.
The McNamaras are juniors, back set. Moving the ball around. What a nice set by Kraft. Quiggle hits. Bang!
How about that transition set by Nicole McNamara to Megan McNamara? Beautiful kill, and Kraft Quiggle up by 1, but UCLA switching to the good side with the wind in their face.
This really gives you an idea of the level of beach volleyball now. Looking at these one teams banging it out against each other. And we just saw the depth as we watched the 5 pairs and the 4 pairs trade back and forth. Nicole and Megan McNamara, according to coach, have really learned how to be great partners in addition to sisters. They're able to challenge each other, no possessions off.
And I like what Stein Metzger said about them, because I coach a pair of twins that are exactly like the McNamara's, right-handed, left-hand, and they're tough on each other. And finding the right chemistry with your twin sister is tough, but the McNamaras have found some good balance, pushing each other to be better.
That ball just a little bit long. All 3 first sets pretty tight across the way. Deanna Kraft serving. Part of what we're seeing in the partnerships, too, other than the McNamaras, by the way, is a difference in years and experience. Kraft and Quiggle are a senior and a sophomore. You know, we've seen a lot of sophomore or freshman and sophomore. Very rarely 2 freshmen are out here.
Correct, especially at the higher pair level. It's hard to be an underclassman. You really get better with experience in this sport.
Of course, the McNamaras were playing internationally before they ever stepped foot on campus. Doug. Over. Coming to the back. And now up, Nicole.
The McNamaras just keep coming at you. Lots of drops off the net, good touches. Look at this rundown by Nicole, and then she's able to transition this ball for UCLA off the tape, but gets a deflection and a kill.
These two got a bronze medal on their 17th birthday in Portugal on the under-19 team for Team Canada. Their experience now as juniors playing in the national championships has shown.
Nicole and Megan McNamara touching everything. That time, Corinne Quiggle put a little extra sauce. That ball dug out of bounds.
Stein-Metzger had said of the McNamaras that they took their lumps their freshman year, and they really learned from it. I mean, they were the one pairs as freshmen. This UCLA program's come a long way. Up, Kraft pulling off. Quiggle sets. Just wide.
There you see the size advantage of the net. Deanna Kraft, number 31 in dark blue, really trying to hammer that ball down, missing it wide. And I think that's one of the things the McNamaras do. They put a lot of pressure on you to hit it in a perfect spot. And that's when teams start to make errors.
Nicole McNamara splits the defense. Megan on the overpass.
Well, set up by Nicole McNamara's tough serve, and that provides some offense for her twin sister. UCLA up by 2.
You talked about the communication even between the twins that you coach, and they're so hard on each other. So what do you tell them about being more partners than sisters?
Well, you got to put the personal stuff aside. How do I make my partner better? Let's take the pressure off my partner and just give positive feedback. Hey, can we try this adjustment? You just have to be sensitive to the other player. And if you know your partner, regardless if they're your twin sister or not, if you know they're giving 100%, just be constructive. That's the best way to be with a partner.
Kraft unloads down the line.
Great set by Corinne Quiggle, pushing Deanna Kraft up to the net. Deanna's 6 foot from Seattle, Washington, and then just hammers it down the line for Pepperdine.
Off the net. Megan sets. Nicole right over her head.
You know, if you look at that serve receive, it looked really easy, but Nicole McNamara on the dig dives, lifts that pass perfectly, and then the high line shot over the retreating blocker. I love that shot.
Service error and a 1-point set. As Corinne Quiggle, you mentioned she's got a great hand. What does that mean exactly?
That means she has great control of where she puts the ball, and she comes over the top and can use any part of the court. I love that late block move by Deanna Kraft. Watch her shut down the line. She jumps in and pushes over the net. Looked like she had line, and then the blocker took it away from the hitter.
Nicole McNamara dribbles along the net and drops in.
That time, Deanna Kraft, the blocker for Pepperdine, late on her push over. If you're the blocker, you want to cut off the angles of the hitter as soon as possible. You don't want to go high, then over, just over.
Kraft again. Tries to do a little too much, and you mentioned that earlier.
Well, Deanna Kraft has the size advantage, goes, oh, I'm just going to hit this ball over line. She wants to hit the ball, but she feels like she needs to shoot it. McNamara's reading that, and that ball hit wide.
Nicole McNamara continuing to serve at Kraft. Quiggle down the line. Here comes Megan unloading cross.
I love the way UCLA moves defensively together off the net. They balance the court and put themselves in good positions to score.
It looks like a dance when the twin sisters play. Nicole to Megan to the corner.
You put in the effort.
Checks. Be good at life, New York life.
Welcome back. 3 courts of action in the second flight of play between UCLA and Pepperdine. The score is 1-1 in this opening duel of a triple header on Pac-12 networks. Court 2, it's a close game. 3-point lead for UCLA. Court 3, a 7-point lead for Pepperdine's Dyer and Hernandez. But we're going to return to the action on court number 1, the 1 pairs, where the McNamara twins are facing Quiggle and Kraft of Pepperdine. A 3-point lead for the twins from Canada. Nicole McNamara right down the middle again. Going to turn the other way, and Megan McNamara, no. She knew they were going to try to poke that line.
I like the defensive play at the net by Megan McNamara, but Pepperdine gets another chance. In Corinne Quiggle, she can hit the hard ball, but she's got the shots as well.
Nicole receives the serve. Turns that any direction but what I thought. I mean, that was a beautiful cutback.
You can't tell where they're hitting because the approach is always hard, always behind the ball, and you can't tell where they're going. And that's one of the things that makes the McNamaras hard to defend.
Megan McNamara serves Quiggle. Quiggle has not gotten a ton of swings on the ball. They've been serving her partner most of the time, and the score by Megan.
Well executed defense. Megan McNamara reads the ball, makes a good reaction, and is able to put that ball away.
The action on court number 2, Sarah Sponcil and Lily Justine, +3 against Bauer and Rowe, as you might expect if you know beach volleyball. Lily Justine receiving most of the serves. On the court number 3, Dyer and Hernandez. Nice control, 7 points plus over Yeomans and Zappia of UCLA.
That time, Kraft finding that deep middle open. The twins looked at each other, said, "My ball."
Did they both say "my ball"?
No, just one of them.
Okay, good. I was like, that's a problem. A serve for Corinne Quiggle.
The dribbler, you don't see those balls drop too often against the McNamaras. They touch everything. Catches the top of the tape and drops straight down.
Next service to Nicole McNamara. Super sharp cut by the lefty.
Corinne Quiggle there to touch it, just can't control it and bring it back to the court for her partner, Kraft.
There's a place where you kind of set up for a cut shot, and then there's a place for a lefty cut shot like Nicole McNamara.
I'll tell you, if a lefty has a great cut shot and a great line shot, it puts so much pressure on that defender.
Little shot, well placed by Kraft.
Kraft really executing that cut shot well. She's got the power, so the defender digs in, and she's able to get that short ball to drop.
Marcio Zaccoli has moved over and coaching the 1 pairs of Pepperdine. We were watching him coach the 5 pairs last time around. Last flight of action, Jeff Alzina on the other side coaching the McNamaras.
Trying to figure out a way to score on the McNamaras.
Beautiful hand set again. That appears it's going to be the signature for UCLA this year, the hand setting.
And again, it's ball control and confidence and a nice touch. And Nicole McNamara puts a perfect setup for Megan, who sees the angle block and goes over for the kill.
Little pokey. Kraft knows where she's going.
Wind seeming to pick up. You can feel it. It definitely dropped a few degrees in temperature, but the wind picking up. Pepperdine serving into the wind right now.
Sun came out too. The clouds are in and out. It's only 60 degrees here right now, which for LA is quite cold.
Megan McNamara just sneaking that inside the big block of Kraft. Kraft needs to get over and grab that ball for Pepperdine.
3-point lead for UCLA. Pepperdine takes a timeout. Marcio Zaccoli going to take a moment and talk. Meanwhile, Jeff Alzina talking with the McNamara twins.
I think it's important you do not, if you're Pepperdine, want to let this first set get away from you. McNamara's doing a lot of good things when they control that ball.
For Jeff Alzina, he has a lot of experience in the international level coaching as well. I mean, what does that tell you about the sport that you can get this level of a volunteer coach?
Well, I think it's a steal for UCLA. Jeff Alzina is one of the best coaches in beach volleyball in the entire country. The experience that he brings, the energy, the expertise, the drills. I mean, UCLA, the coaches, the players, all just have been raving about having Jeff Alzina as part of the program at UCLA.
Let's jump over while court 1 is in a timeout and take a look at the action on court number 3, because Pepperdine's pair of Dyer and Hernandez with a 6-point lead steamrolling towards the end of set number 1.
Heidi Dyer at 6'2" provides a big block, and Gigi Hernandez is as strong as she's ever been. 5'10" sophomore. She's touching about 30 inches in the sand, and she's using her physicality to be a really solid defender and put the ball away when she digs it.
Maddie Yeomans serving, a 6-foot sophomore. Elise Zappia, number 34, sets. Little shot doesn't come back, and it is set point Pepperdine on court number 3.
It's important if you're Elise Zappia and Maddie Yeomans that you stay aggressive. You have open net. You got to get up and hammer that. When you're Maddie Yeomans, you're long. Use that length at the net to be aggressive.
Yeomans going to it.
Gigi Hernandez running that ball down, just can't control it for Pepperdine, but in a good position to win this set. All they need to do is side out.
Holly, as you look at this court from above, you see the shadows. There's really only one player that is in sun. When the ball is traveling from shadow to sun or coming the other way, does that affect you at all in terms of playing?
Absolutely. I could not stand it. I'd like to either play with glasses or without. Right now, just Gigi Hernandez in that sunny spot. Heidi Dyer on 2, but Elise Zappia there for UCLA. Elise Zappia is the lone senior for UCLA, and she has been working hard. She wants that national championship for her senior year.
Set point number 3 as they keep fighting it off, and this is Zappia, the senior you were talking about, 5'8" out of Huntington Beach. Was paired with Carey, who you saw in the last flight of action in her freshman year.
Pepperdine is so close to victory. They need to be aggressive. Maddie Yeomans making some good block moves on 2, but Gigi Hernandez needs to stay aggressive. When she gets up, she has lots of offensive range.
Set point number 4.
Over line, easy.
Call is over line, you can hear. Little poke. And that will do it as Pepperdine takes set number 1 after UCLA fights off 4 set points. We're coming back to court number 1 as that is coming down to the end. Pepperdine scoring, keeping it close. UCLA +2 in set number 1. Nicole McNamara up to hit. Kraft on the block. Quiggle digs.
Quiggle there to dig that ball, but she needs to control it better. Megan McNamara getting an easy kill at the net.
Set point McNamara's. Serve is long.
I feel like Pepperdine just serving one player or the other instead of serving seam, like more middle, more short, make the passers move.
We're at set point number 2. And Nicole McNamara puts it away as UCLA takes the first set on court number 1. Pepperdine takes the first set on court number 3.
And this is going to go down to the wire.
And on court number 2, it's coming down to the final points of set number 1. UCLA with a +4 lead. That is Lily Justine and Sarah Sponcil over Rowe and Bauer. A serve.
Maddie Rowe from the bad side hits a back line ace for Pepperdine, but they still trail by 3.
Number 4 for UCLA, Sarah Sponcil is a special player.
She certainly is. She transferred from Loyola Marymount to UCLA as a hitter and became the starting setter for the indoor team at UCLA, but she is one of the best beach volleyball players in the country at her age.
And look at Sponcil, put that down short as it is set point number 1 for Sponcil and Justine.
When Sarah Sponcil was in high school, she was competing in AVP professional level qualifier events and playing at a very high level. Everybody in the country was talking about it.
That's not intimidating at all. Great put away by Pep.
I find it interesting that UCLA testing Maddie Rowe instead of the freshman Brooke Bauer. It's a big match. Why not test the freshman?
This is Brooke Bauer serving, the true freshman, 6'1" out of Fort Lauderdale. Look at the hands of Sarah Sponcil. And that is the first set to UCLA.
That's something that Sarah Sponcil does not lack. Beautiful hands and a lot of confidence.
Pepperdine and UCLA tied up at 1-1 in the duel. Set 2 coming next.
Can I just
try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Pac12.
Welcome back, triple header on Pac-12 Networks today. This is the first duel of the day. Pepperdine and UCLA locked up at 1 apiece. Second flight of action, second set getting underway now. There's 3 courts of action going on. On court number 1, the McNamaras took the first set over Quiggle and Kraft. On court number 3, Pepperdine's Dyer and Hernandez handled Zappia and Yeomans. But we're going to turn our attention back to court number 2, where we left you. Lily Justine and Sarah Sponcil of UCLA set one over Rowe and Bauer. And Holly, last we were watching them, you were talking about UCLA not testing the freshman Bauer. Let's see if they've made any changes.
Yeah, I would think with their coach on the sideline, they say, hey, let's try out the freshman tester.
Meanwhile, on the other side, though, Pepperdine has been having Lily Justine handle most of the balls. No surprise, since Sarah Sponcil, as you told us, was playing pro-level events in her high school years.
Yeah, the only thing is, if you're serving Lily Justine, you know she's going to get a sweet set every time from Sarah Sponcil. I don't know how Lily Justine sets the ball, so that might be a reason to test Sarah Sponcil at some point.
Kind of similar to when you played. You were most often the smaller player, but an excellent setter, and so sometimes you want to make the person who isn't setting handle the ball, or who isn't a great setter handle the ball.
Lily Justine, so physical. Stein Metzger talked about her really buying into the technique, the program, and she's just made huge progress for UCLA.
Lily Justine, a sophomore. Bauer serve. Sponcil. To your point, there we get to see the set.
We see the set. It was a nice set. Sarah Sponcil poking the ball deep. Pepperdine there just cannot control it. Nina Matthews talked about freshman Brooke Bauer running around, playing really good defense behind Maddie Rowe, who's physical at the net.
Lily Justine serving. Little shot, easily handled by Sponcil. Sponcil up. Just going to the back line. Everybody sees it, nobody touches it.
Well, you retreat off the net, and that shot over and deep. Look at the retreating blocker, Maddie Rowe, number 10. She gets off, good location, but right over her head, out of reach of Brooke Bauer as well.
Is it the vision of Sarah Sponcil that allows her to do that, a court awareness? What is it that makes her so special?
Vision, experience, control, all of the above.
And of course, setting. Frustration.
If you're Lily Justine, you have open net, you get your feet to the ball and you hammer it. I don't care where you put it, but get up there and stay aggressive. You don't have to get cute with a short shot.
Sponcil served and hammered. Coming the other way, and that ball is good for Pepperdine.
How about that? Big dig by Brooke Bauer, the freshman, number 3, and then a cross-court kill. It's rare when you see the defender taller than the blocker on a team, but in the case of Maddie Rowe and Brooke Bauer looks to be a little bit taller. It's 6'1", Maddie Rowe, 5'11".
Sarah Sponcil bounces the ball on court number 2.
Really good set by Lily Justine, and then Sarah Sponcil with open net knows how to terminate.
Court 1 keeping you up to date. The McNamaras picked up right where they left off. A 5-point lead for them over Quiggle and Kraft. And on court number 3, same story again. Dyer and Hernandez, who won set number 1, with a lead in set number 2. On court number 2, they are now serving Sponcil consistently. Ball's up. Nice pop.
Tight ball. Lily Justine losing the joust. Sarah Sponcil with a chance to get that over. Bumps it short, but does not clear tape for UCLA.
Tied up 5 apiece. Of course, if Bauer and Rowe are able to win this set, it will go to a third set, which is shorter.
Maddie Rowe getting way over the net for Pepperdine. She is a special kind of athlete. It just jumps so well. Love the fire from Maddie Rowe out of Arizona.
Into the net. You really get an idea of how this game is growing too, right? Rowe out of Arizona, Sarah Sponcil out of Arizona, Brooke Bauer out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Lily Justine Chico, California.
Yeah, it's growing, and we're seeing all sorts of athletes from across the country fall in love with the sport of beach volleyball, and then obviously contribute to different programs across the country.
Yeah, you'll see Joe Kremer coming for UCLA, who played indoor for Notre Dame and wanted to come out and play at the beach, and has been a contributor for USC.
But Joe Kremer grew up in Pacific Palisades, grew up on the beach, and came back to compete here at USC.
Leaving Notre Dame, though, in their indoor program, there's been a number of players who have finished their indoor eligibility. Joe Kremer left indoor in the middle, but a number of players finished their indoor eligibility and then came out to the beach. Sarah Sponcil is one of them.
Well, and Sarah Sponcil, I thought, oh gosh, UCLA Beach only gets her 1 year. They actually get her another year, which is a huge bonus for Stein Metzger. And for Sarah Sponcil, she gets the possibility of getting her grad school paid for.
Yeah, and for Stein Metzger to have the seniors next year be Nicole McNamara, Megan McNamara, Sarah Sponcil, Izzy Carey. I mean, those are some great leaders.
For the best players in the country anchoring your program.
Sponcil now back to serve.
Right now, UCLA, a little bit of wind in their face. Let's see if they can get their serve going and score some points from the good side.
Coming the other way. Crushed.
How about the confidence of Brooke Bauer? She was not even affected by the block. Goes up aggressive, hits the ball line. It looks like Lily Justine's supposed to be taking that line away, but goes between the blocker and the line. If you're the blocker, you have to take that away from the hitter.
When we asked Nina Matthews to describe Brooke Bauer, she said smooth, strong, and fast. Those are three things you really want in a beach player.
And she's out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The confidence, the size. 6'1" defender, you don't hear about that a lot. A lot of times, if you're 6'1", they just say, hey, go to the net, be the blocker. But here, she's got the size, reads the game well, and brings the heat at the net.
Sponcil's hands got called.
Well, that time, Sarah Sponcil, I mean, I couldn't believe she whipped out her hands on that particular pass, but just was not able to get a hold of it with both hands. Lily Justine needs to focus on getting her platform out, passing this ball.
Pepperdine with the lead for the two pairs.
Brooke Bauer there to touch that ball, just can't control it for Pepperdine. I feel like they're just exchanging blows. This second set really close for UCLA and Pepperdine.
Lily Justine at the net, trying to close the door. Sponcil picks it up. Lily Justine sets Sponcil well. Here's another opportunity, slowing herself down to set Sponcil. Done.
I don't know if you noticed, but in the middle of that rally, Lily Justine, hat, glasses, everything off. Sarah Sponcil dug the ball, and her foot was wrapped in Lily Justine's visor. She said, what is this on my foot? But she maintained her composure and finishes that rally with a kill.
I did notice that, and I was trying to maintain my composure at the same time. If there's anybody it could happen to, it's Sarah Sponcil. She's seen it all.
Exactly.
Do you see Sarah Sponcil, I'll put you on the spot, as a potential member of the national team? We'll answer those questions when we come back to court two after this, tied up at 1 apiece.
On Pac-12 Network.
Welcome back, courts 1 and 3. Coming down to a potential ending as on court 1, McNamara has won the first set. They are handily in charge of set number 2. On court number 3, Dyer and Hernandez took set 1 with a 5-point lead. We're going to stay here for a bit and see it's tied up 1 apiece. If these two matches go as they're looking to go and it ends up being split, then all the pressure will come down to court 2. On the left side of your screen, McNamara's. And this is Nicole McNamara. Left side of the screen, off hands.
The defense, the control, the transition setting by the McNamaras has been really impressive. And Nicole McNamara, we talked about her off-season shoulder surgery. She looks good. She's reaching, does not look limited in her offensive range.
Nicole McNamara. Wow, that serve down the line. Great pickup. And an even better putback by Deanna Kraft.
Deanna Kraft knows she's got 2 down defensively, so that deep middle is a great option, and we've seen her hit that ball numerous times.
You and I had a great look at that serve. That was spinning, twisting, breaking towards the line. Over. Megan looks like she's going to hit it, and then Nicole McNamara just not where she wants to be.
Well, Nicole and Megan trying to add some new stuff into their offense. That time a wide set, and Nicole McNamara was too early to get on top of that ball. Unfortunate error for them.
9-point lead for the McNamaras in a deciding set number 2.
The precision, the ball control, so pretty to watch from Nicole and Megan McNamara. They represent Canada internationally, but today they're with UCLA and they are leading the charge. They are fun to watch, and what great players to have in your program. Everybody wants to play and train as hard as they do every day.
Yeah, great leaders for this team. This UCLA team and this Pepperdine team will both face USC later today. Up for Megan McNamara, just thoughtful shots everywhere.
Thoughtful shot, and Deanna Kraft making a good run to turn and get that very well-placed shot for UCLA. You can't get everything, but you want to put yourself in a position to touch as many balls as you can.
Match point, UCLA on court number 1.
Miss serve, Megan McNamara trying to be aggressive from the service line, but now it's just going to take a side out to seal the deal for UCLA on court 1.
Second match point. Nicole, the lefty, hammers it down, and a UCLA with another point. They take the lead in the duel. It was a 14-6 UCLA run to win that match.
I'm impressed by Nicole and Megan McNamara today. They have not missed a beat, and I think they've improved in some ways. I thought they were going to be challenged by the off-season surgery, but doesn't look like it.
A 2-1 lead and a high mom and dad from Megan McNamara. So let's go over to court number 3, where Pepperdine's pair of Dyer and Hernandez looking to tie up the duel, but UCLA has charged back after being down. Zappia and Yeomans now are even with Pep.
At least Zappia and Yeomans must have made a big adjustment, because they were down in the second set significantly. Now tying it up at 14-all. Elise Zappia, the senior, telling her partner Maddie Yeomans what she wants her to do.
Zappia, a senior, Yeomans, a sophomore. They are being coached by Jenny Johnson-Jordan, one of the assistants for UCLA. Call was line over, and that's exactly what she did.
Elise Zappia needs to keep going after that ball. She looked at it, hoping, thinking it might be long, but well placed by Pepperdine.
Such a critical match. This is where the team portion comes in. If Yeomans and Zappia take this set, they force it to a third set. If Dyer and Hernandez can close it out, the duel is tied up again. Hammered by Yeomans.
And that's important. Maddie Yeomans needs to come in aggressive every time like that. I think she likes to shoot the ball around, but at her size and her position, she needs to use her length to terminate, and she does on that last play.
Zappia serving. Hernandez. Here comes Dyer. Hammers cross court.
One of the things Coach Nina Matthews said about Gigi Hernandez and Heidi Dyer together, they enjoy playing together, they complement each other, and when Heidi Dyer's happy, she plays good volleyball. She plays both indoor and beach for Pepperdine, one of only 2 athletes for Pepperdine, and Gigi Hernandez, since the age of 10, has been playing beach volleyball, so it's some nice experience and great athleticism behind the block.
Going to the corner, just listening to her partner. Well played by Yeomans.
Very nice, deep shot, for sure.
These teams trading points. Pep up. Doug. Yeomans chasing it out. Dyer pass. Hernandez puts up a nice set for her. Pulling. Dyer chasing. And crushing, hitting the line was Gigi Hernandez.
Gigi Hernandez, when she stays aggressive, she can be very terminal. I feel like sometimes she comes in a little soft, but when she comes in aggressive, she uses that 30-inch vertical in the sand, and she can terminate. Good offensive hand. She just needs to keep that aggressive mindset for Pepperdine.
Dyer serving a 1-point lead. Little knuckles. Dyer, too much, turns it outside.
Wow, that's a break for UCLA. Heidi Dyer digging that good ball. Saw the opening down the line just wide. Elise Zappia, again, the lone senior for UCLA. Really hungry to finish strong.
Tied up 17 apiece, but all the pressure on UCLA as they are down a set. Dyer and Hernandez took set number 1. Dyer, the poke. Hernandez. And now Yeomans chasing it up, no one on. Call again, it's just deep, but poked a little too long. Oh, she gets it off hands.
Touch on the block. Gosh, what a great rally. Good transition set by Zappia, but Gigi Hernandez digging a good ball, getting a touch on the block for the Pepperdine point.
On the left side of your screen, court number 2, Sponcil and Justine up 1. If Sponcil and Justine win this point or win this set, they win the match and UCLA wins the duel. If Pepperdine is able to finish this out on court number 3, then all the pressure shifts to number 2. UCLA needs just one more win on either court.
That time, Maddie Yeomans going up, staying aggressive at the net. Just trading points, but Dyer Hernandez winning that first set with the advantage here.
Locked up 18 apiece. Dyer and Hernandez took set number 1. Pepperdine and UCLA, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country. A triple header on Pac-12 networks today. And a little dribbler puts UCLA in the driver's seat.
That's when it helps to be aggressive from the back line. Clips the tape and drops for the UCLA ace.
Hammered, but wide. UCLA now sitting at set point. Can they push it to a third?
Momentum shifting towards UCLA right now. We've seen a couple errors from Pepperdine.
Pepperdine taking a moment to set themselves up. If UCLA wins this point, it goes to a third set. Ball up, and UCLA wins the point. It will go to a third set on court number 3.
Feel like on court 3, Pepperdine let that match get away from them. Now they're going to a third set, and anything can happen.
Meanwhile, on court number 2, if Sponcil and Justine are able to win this set, UCLA wins the duel. It is 2-1 in this duel right now, and it is set point, duel point for UCLA.
Sarah Sponcil on the back line. Pressures on Pepperdine.
Rowe passes. Rowe finds the corner.
What a beautiful high line shot from the high flyer, Maddie Rowe.
I never really liked the expression backs against the wall, but really, it continues to be match point and dual point unless Bauer and Rowe can dig out of this. Solid dig. Rowe. And it goes long. UCLA wins the set, the match, and the duel.
And that's a big one. Lily Justine and Sarah Sponcil struggled a little bit in Hawaii. They're a team that's going to get better every match, but had a couple losses while in Hawaii last weekend. They're looking to get that winning streak going.
UCLA wins the duel. When we come back, we'll cover the end of court number 3. Can I just stop?
ZipRecruiter.com/Pac12.
UCLA wins the first duel of our triple header with a win 3-1 over the Waves. It's time now for our State Farm Get to a Better State play of the game, and it was the ending on court number 2.
You see this scramble play. Look at Sarah Sponcil run this ball down. Lily Justine stays aggressive, and they're able to terminate in transition when Maddie Rowe for Pepperdine hits this ball long.
That's our State Farm Get to a Better State. The duel has been won by UCLA, but the action continues on court number 3. This is one of the things, Holly, in beach volleyball that they've toyed with back and forth, right? Do you play to completion, or when the duel's over, does play stop? We've seen it both ways throughout the year. What do you prefer?
Well, as a player, I think I want you to play to completion. You don't want to be robbed of that chance to finish your chance for a victory. Otherwise, there's no conclusion to the match you are competing in.
I agree, and I feel like if you don't play to completion, there's a certain rush factor that happens, and the last thing you want to do in any skill sport like this is rush yourself.
Exactly. You don't. You just need to take care of the ball, take care of what's happening on your court.
And so this is a shorter set, the third set. In terms of you as an athlete, what do you need to concentrate on in a shorter set like this?
Well, you need to minimize errors, but you need to stay aggressive. There's a sense of urgency. It's a race to 15. And I feel like Pepperdine was up in that second set, let UCLA back in. UCLA battled at the end to win that second set, and now they're up with a 1-point advantage. So Pepperdine needs to figure out a way to score points that they didn't finish strong in the second game with.
Yeomans. Hernandez. Now Yeomans again. Just broken plays.
Well, and Pepperdine's Heidi Dyer, she gets her feet there. She's long. She's able to transition that second contact ball. Maddie Yeomans got that set at the net, just couldn't get her feet there to poke it over.
Yeomans just crushes cross court.
Really good, hard, aggressive approach from Maddie Yeomans. I like when she comes in like that because that will open up her shots, but stay aggressive until they dig her.
Of course, also important for these two teams is figuring out your partnerships. It's still so early in the year. Figuring out your partnerships, what works, what sets work for your partner.
Definitely. And how do you, I think what you learn is when you're competing with a partner, how do you right the ship when things aren't going well? How do you change momentum? How do you communicate? These are all things that these pairs, especially the new pairs like Zappia and Yeomans, they're learning to do.
Yeah, and Dyer and Hernandez, I'm looking back at last year's, Dyer was playing with Caputo for much of the season as well. So for both of these teams, new pairing.
New pairs trying to figure out how to win when the match is tight.
Heidi Dyer serving. Spent a lot of years battling a very severe scoliosis. Heidi Dyer did. We talked about that last year at the National Championship quite a bit. How does having your back kind of fused like that affect your game?
Well, it affects you a lot, but for Heidi Dyer and other players with scoliosis who've had the surgery, have the metal rods in their back, they figure out a way to move and make up for it, either with their feet or the way they touch the ball. But Heidi Dyer maximizing what she has, she's figured out a way. But you can't pivot your hips and move the way most people can in terms of turning and going for balls.
The teams now gathered watching this final set. UCLA, you see the top of your screen, top left. Pepperdine just outside of the screen, the bottom left.
Elise Zappia, so solid. She's just steady, puts up a nice, consistent set for Maddie Yeomans, lets Maddie Yeomans know what's open. UCLA point.
Yeomans back to serve. Bert Fuller, the up official, checking something. Tied up 7 apiece.
Possibly checking the service order.
Let's go. One side out.
Yeomans to Hernandez. Dyer sets. Corner.
At least Zappia there just can't control it to her partner. Big side out for Gigi Hernandez.
Small thing, but I'm watching Jenny Johnson-Jordan have to run to catch up with her team as they kind of rush that side switch, and it's one of those moments like, slow down.
Yeah, and we tell our players when we're doing the walk with them, come over, get some information, don't rush it. Because the coaches have a lot of good things to say, especially in this situation.
Yeah, Jenny Johnson-Jordan, another Olympian on UCLA's staff, who's coached by Anna Collier, I believe, in one of the Olympics.
She was. Actually, Anna Collier coached her. I don't believe she coached her at the Olympic Games. Jenny Johnson-Jordan and Nanette Davis competed in 2000 in the Sydney Olympic Games.
As did you.
As did I. Heidi Dyer liking that over on 2 offense. That time choosing to go to that left corner, missing it long.
1 point lead for Yeomans and Zappia. If they're able to come out with a win on this, what kind of a boost can that give them, considering they were so far down in set number 2 and lost set 1?
Well, I think it's a confidence booster for sure. Anytime you can come back and change the momentum in a match. This time, Maddie Yeomans dropping into the angle, and Gigi Hernandez taking advantage of that.
Yeomans through the hands of Dyer.
Maddie Yeomans tough to read when she's aggressive. I'd love to see Pepperdine put a little bit more service pressure on her, make her move her feet to pass the ball.
One point lead, Yeomans back to serve. Goes at Hernandez. Looking for that corner and gets it.
Gigi Hernandez passing the ball very well for Pepperdine, and it's allowing her to see what the defense is doing and then going to that high, deep shot beyond that retreating blocker.
Holly, what's the best way to dig that high, deep shot?
Well, if you're a retreating blocker, you need to actually turn and go. Instead of reaching with that tomahawk over your head, you need to turn your hips and play it low. It gives you more time to get there.
Dyer serving now, tied up at 10 apiece. The set goes just to 15. Win by 2. Yeomans.
Over, come on. Yeah!
Retreating blocker, it goes a little long.
No, that was touched by Maddie Yeomans.
Touched by Yeomans as she reached.
That's that umbrella in the way, but well-placed ball again by Gigi Hernandez. That same spot. Maddie Yeomans keeps trying to get it up high. She needs to turn and play it low.
Here's Yeomans on a low set, just knuckles.
You know, there's a time and place for the low set, but when it limits the offensive range of your hitter, I don't like it, and I feel like that particular set, Maddie Yeomans can't even get up there and get her arm up to hit that ball. I think it puts more pressure on the hitter. You want to get her reaching at her highest to put that ball away.
Yeomans on the block. Zappia, most experienced player on the court. Brought heat, comes back again. Dyer is up. Excuse me. Zappia back line.
At least Zappia just relentless, going both ways. Gigi Hernandez dug the first one, doesn't get the second one to the corner. And Pepperdine calls a timeout.
Let's take a look at this sport. What was an emerging sport is now an NCAA sport, and the way that it has grown. In 2012, just 15 beach volleyball programs in the country.
It's just exploded faster than any other sport. Started with 15 in 2012. 2018, 95 beach volleyball college programs. That's so exciting.
It's really thrilling. And of course, 2016 was the first year that it went from emerging sport to an NCAA championship sport. The NCAA championship is in Gulf Shores, Alabama, a spectacular event. These teams, of course, have been at each of the NCAA championships.
Well, I think one of the exciting things is if you see the grassroots of beach volleyball and the amount of kids playing beach volleyball across the country, it continues to explode. There's a tournament every day of the summer where a young junior player can compete and get better.
Just going to feed and make this college game stronger. The college game stronger, then going to feed the pro game, the Olympic programs. And third set coming down to the wire, tied at 12 apiece. Dyer and Hernandez won set number 1. They had control in set number 2, but Yeomans and Zappia fought back, tied up at 12 apiece. The duel has already gone to UCLA. This is for experience points within each team. Broken play, UCLA with the upper hand.
Good touch at the net by Heidi Dyer. Gigi Hernandez trying to run that down. It's hard after deflection to put that ball up for your hitter, but especially for Heidi Dyer, she can't like turn her hips and get around it. You need to try and apex the ball somewhere near where she is.
Set is only to 15, win by 2. Yeomans serving. Hernandez up, it's tight.
Beautiful court vision by Gigi Hernandez. She saw the angle block. She elevated high poke over the angle block away from the defender. Heidi Dyer, her father, Ian Dyer, played on the AVP tour, and Heidi Dyer says she grew up bumping a ball. Her whole family grew up at the beach playing.
Dyer takes it over on 2. Ball is long, a UCLA point.
Good rally by both teams. Nice defensive plays, but that ball hit out wide by Dyer in transition.
Yeomans and Zappia at match point. Little shot, Pepperdine stays alive. Extra points in the third set.
And wouldn't you expect it with this matchup, back and forth, and Gigi Hernandez tagging that line to make it more interesting.
Yeomans. Pepperdine now takes the lead.
Wow. Maddie Yeomans trying to go over line, just hitting that ball long, and now Pepperdine with the 1-point advantage. Match point.
Here comes Hernandez for the match.
And Gigi Hernandez, that was her most aggressive approach. She tasted victory and gets it for Pepperdine at the 3 pairs.
A loss for Pepperdine in the duel, 3-2, but a win for the threes to finish things out. What a start to our Pac-12 triple header today. UCLA with the first win of the day over the Pepperdine Waves.
I think it was a good statement for UCLA. They came out and competed against a very competitive Pepperdine team. Nice win.
Next up, UCLA and USC. The Bruins have a very quick turnaround. The 4s and the 5s will take control next, but today on the first day of Pac-12 Network's 34 dual coverage, UCLA strikes first. Bruins come up with a win over the Waves. Take a moment, stretch, and then join us again. It'll be the crosstown rivals, UCLA and USC, coming up next. For my partner, Holly McPeak, our director, Gary Milkus, and our producer, Billy Chusett. Take a break. We'll meet you at the beach.
You now join this program already.